Kia ora, good morning. So I had a dream. I've been awake for a couple of hours, but I still feel I'm not even woken up properly. I'm so used to working on autopilot after I wake up from a dream. Sometimes it's hard to tell whether I'm awake in real life or not. But I'm going to have a coffee after this and make another hot water bottle. I've just been posting some stuff while I've been mentally interpreting the dream. It was a quick dream, but it was a really weird one. And I've been having a lot of dreams based at night. Just let me put my jumper blanket on. I had a dream that it was night time and Vladimir Putin had me and all these women like in a gaggle. I don't know why Vladimir Putin. He was in army clothing. And there were, it's it's like the women were being rounded up, but not for any other purpose than like they were his women. Or how do I explain it? It wasn't a sexuals thing. It had nothing to do with the sexuals. It was like they worked for him. They were under his control. They were his, not harem, but like they were his collection of women who worked for him, who, they worked for him. But I didn't want to be a part of it. And so I walked away, I walked away, and there was like that I was pissed off with him, and because I didn't want to be a part of it. And he was like, okay, come back, it's fine, you can be it, you can be it. He goes, you can have it, you can be it. And I was like, no. And I walked off, and he was like, oh, and he got shitty with me and went back to the other women, but I didn't care. And I started walking down the street again, following the street lights. And next thing, I was sitting with the man that I knew to be the Moon King, but I don't remember his face. I just know that that him and I were causing trouble. And we'd gotten hold of like a missile launcher. What is it? A missile launcher? You put it on your shoulder and you fire it, and it shoots. The missile. And we were playing around with this missile, and we accidentally triggered it. And we were thinking, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, like we're gonna hurt people, people are gonna get hurt by what we're doing, like holy shit. And we were panicking. I was saying, it's all right, God's not gonna let innocent people get hurt. We just pray. And then the missile hit a plane, and the plane like exploded. And he was like, oh my god. And I said, no, 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 no. I was like, no, don't worry. I said there were bad people on that plane. I said, oh, whew, that's a good thing. I said, that means God, we were meant to fire it. We shouldn't have been playing with it, but we were playing with it, and we fired it. And luckily it didn't hit innocent people. It hit a plane and blew the plane up and the plane was full of really bad people. and we were happy, and luckily the plane landed in the desert, so like nobody was hurt, but we were like, oh my god, because we were causing trouble. We were sitting on the back step of a porch of a house, and it was daytime, and yeah, I don't know how we got this missile launcher thing or rocket launcher. It was a rocket launcher, eh? The one you sit like the one that's the big tube, and you fire it and it fires off. Yeah, and then it hit the blue. I was thinking, oh shit, panicking. I was saying, God won't let it hit anyone innocent. Like I was saying to God, please, 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 thinking, oh shit, we're in trouble. We're going to be in a lot of trouble because we were dicking about, just sitting on the porch. And just randomly firing a rocket launcher. But luckily it had a place. I was saying, so God needed that to happen. Like we had to do that. God needed it to happen because that plane was full of bad people. Interestingly enough, what I remember about the plane is it had a blue and yellow flag on it, or it had blue and yellow on it. Like the Ukraine colours, which is interesting considering what I found after I woke up and just posted. So it must have something to do with trafficking kids from Ukraine. Anyway, so then I'm walking down the street again, and Vladimir Putin was calling me saying, "Come back, like it's fine, you can have it." Like I give up, like I give in. All right, I give in, I give in. And I was like, no, and he was pissed off with me because I was like, no. And then it turned dark, and I was walking down this misty street. Like it was all sort of like Jack the Ripper, misty Victorian street light. And I was following like the old fashioned lamplight, and this wolf came out of nowhere and just stood in the street. Remember from my dream where I met the seraphim, and the seraphim came and got Luca? It was a campfire dream where my man and I were camping outside, sleeping in the back of a ute, and Luca came and his face was covered in blood. And he was like, who the hell's that? And I was like, you mean who in the hell is that? And I said, he's Odin's one of generals and blah, blah, blah. And he was resting with his head in my lap. And then Seraphial, the seraphim, came down and said to me, I need Luca because we've got one more job to do. He can rest after this one more job. That dream, it was that wolf. It was like a blacky, browny, like, and my heart started pounding. Even now, my heart's still pounding because I wasn't expecting to see a wolf. I remember, at first I remember thinking, is that a German Shepherd? And then I realised, holy crap, that's a wolf. And I know it was a wolf because I was thinking, what the hell is a wolf doing here? But I don't know where here was. But it was obviously somewhere where they don't have wolves. There shouldn't have been a wolf there. Like, in the country, there shouldn't have been a wolf in the country. So it wasn't somewhere like Switzerland or Russia or America and that, because they have wolfers. So it maybe was here in the UK. Because we used to have wolfers, which is why it's in the Callaghan coat of arms, but we don't have wolfers now. And it said to me, follow me and I'll get you out of this mess. Because I started feeling like I was in danger, and the wolf came out of nowhere and said, follow me, I'll get you out of this mess. And so I started following the wolf like I just knew, like I was safe. And it started taking me round the back of all these houses, round the back of all these side streets, like literally round the back of people's houses and through their gates and gardens and alleyways and all of that taking me away from what I just left. And what I just left, I could hear people arguing. I could hear people fighting, like having a fight and an argument. And I remember someone saying, you promised this wouldn't come back on me. You promised you promised this wouldn't come back on me. And it was like they were fighting, saying, and it was like dozens of people arguing, dozens of voices, like they were having fist fights and stuff, and saying, like, you promised that. I'm ad libbing here. I just remember the argument was something along the lines of, you promised if I did this, I wasn't going to get into trouble. You said I wasn't doing anything wrong. I did this for you, and now I'm going to get into trouble. It was like that. That was the kind of fight. But the wolf was calling me away from it. Like um I wasn't allowed to be there. I wasn't allowed to be I wasn't allowed to be a part of it. I wasn't allowed to witness it. I wasn't allowed to be a part of it. That had to go down without me being involved. And then he brought me to, as the sun, because it was night time, as the sun was coming up, he led me out of the suburbs and into like farmland, and it was just like a sea of poppies, a sea of wildflowers, like wild long grass. See, one of my favourite things in the whole world, other than seeing flowers growing out of concrete, I just got this thing about when nature takes over man-made structures, like, when you see flowers and that growing in walls and cracks in pavements and things like that. It's one of my favourite things to see in the world. I love it so much. It's one of the reasons why I want to learn photography. I was learning to do photography, but I really want to learn how to do photography because I want to learn how to take nature photos for my conservation program at my school for animals and, animals and nature conservation. And I love like urban landscapes and like ancient ruins, and like when we went to Revo Abbey, and halfway up the wall there were these beautiful pink flowers growing out of this old like rectory of a monk's abbey. I love that sort of thing, but the thing that I love more than anything in the world is fields of wildflowers. When you're just driving along and there's just like wild grass, it's just been left, and there's wildflowers growing in the fields and the meadows. It's one of my favourite things in the whole world. I feel probably because my middle name is Lee, and Lee means meadow, and Debbie is Bee. So my name is Bee of the Meadow. So it's probably because of that. But he took me there, and there was a man standing against a tree, and he said, "It's me you chose. Come, come this way." And I started walking across the meadow. I remember running my hands along the grass, the dried, the hearing the birds, and the sun was so warm on my back. And he was standing under the grandmother tree, my bloody grandmother tree, the royal oak tree, because the Callaghan coat of arms is a wolf coming out of a forest of oak. So so you chose, for it is me you chose, come. He goes, and he's standing under the grandmother tree, and just as I took his hand, he said, "So we can get married now or what?" And I'm thinking, how rude. Like, what's with these men? Sort of thing in my head. But I was laughing. And then he kissed my hand. And then I woke up. So now I need to interpret it. Because wolves. Okay, let's go back to the beginning. I've walked away from my dream of living in Russia because I can't be anywhere where Elon Musk and Donald Trump have stamped their mark. He's tied up in he's signed a lot of contracts now to do with them in regards to business and that I would never feel safe there now. I felt safe there and I wouldn't feel safe there anymore. So I had to walk away. He he made his decision. He chose. So I had to walk away. So that's the whole thing at the start. But he was in army uniform, and I had just said to him after what I'd just discovered about, the kid's face in the passport and all of that, look, it's broken my heart. And I said to God, what do I have to do to power up so that I can take all these people down, so that I can protect these kids in Odessa? Because it's been discovered that Zelensky has been taking the kids from the orphanages in Odessa, because remember, Vladimir Putin keeps insisting in the peace deal he wants Odessa. So I said to Father, what do I have to do to get Putin Odessa and end this war so that I can take care of these kids in Odessa, the kids in the orphanages, the ones that don't have parents, the ones that have been abandoned. There's been news coming out about these women in Ukraine who have been taking their husbands and even their sons like pensions and their compensation from being prisoners of wars and leaving Ukraine with the money, and the men are coming back and they've been wiped out and all of that. So it makes me so mad. It's so unfair. But all this stuff is starting to come out about how evil Zelensky actually is. And I said to Father, what do I have to do to power up to end this war? And to give Putin Odessa so that I can do something for these children. They don't have to leave Ukraine. Ukraine's not actually that far from Switzerland. They don't have to leave Ukraine or anything like that, but I can financially invest in them to employ some of these veterans in that to be security for these orphanages in the Ukraine and all of that, so that these kids aren't stolen from the traffickers. Because it's the whole reason why they want war with Russia, because they want the kids, and he's trying to protect the kids and all of that, which is why he was in the uniform, which is why when we fired off the missile thing, the rocket launcher, it hit the plane that had like the Ukraine colours on it, which means God is getting ready to take Ukraine down. God is getting ready to take Zelensky down. God is getting ready to take the coalition of Epsteiners down. Something is about to come out, i.e. the rocket launcher, probably on social media, obviously, because, it was me and my partner in crime dicking about, and we fired off this rocket launcher. So it means that something's about to come out that's explosive. And it's going to be on social media. It's going to be, because it's the back door as well. So it's not going to be like breaking news on the BBC or the CNN. The back door, we were sitting on the back porch, so it's news coming through, not the normal channels, so not the radio, not BBC breaking news. It's going to be through the back door. So, like through social media, or someone releasing an email, or someone uploading a video on YouTube or something like that. And us firing the rocket launcher is the information has already been gathered, the evidence has already been gathered, and through probably to do with him making me feel safe and me having the confidence to pull the trigger to, and it actually and it blew up the plane, like not knowing what the hell I was doing, like, you know, like anytime I post stuff, anytime I say stuff, anytime I upload dreams, anytime I download codes, anything like that, I never know where it's going until it hits its mark. And I had that dream, and then I saw the stuff I posted, which means that somewhere within that information of all the stuff I've just posted, it's going to trigger, i.e., pulling the trigger, it's going to trigger something that causes the downfall of Zelensky and the war in Ukraine and the coalition of Epsteiners. And it's God's will. It's because I said to God, you know, what do I have to do? I think I've already done it. And then me walking away into the dark, following the light, is me now not knowing where the hell what I'm just posting right now is going to lead me. But I know it's got nothing to do with me, and that I'm being removed from it. And I've been removed for my own safety. I've been removed out of a dangerous situation for my own safety. I'm being kept out of a fight or an argument that is going to go on behind closed doors, or is going on behind closed doors, that has nothing to do with me, because I've done my bit and I've served God, which is why it was foggy and it was night time, but I was following the street lights, which means it's not been allowed to be made clear to me what I've just done. I'm being kept in the dark, but because I was following the lamplight and it was kind of Victorian-y, it's stuff that I've done in the past that I'm being kept in the fog about, kept in the dark about. So just walk away, don't look back, don't try and save anyone that may be possibly drowning in all of this, and just keep focused on the light. That God, this is all God led, i.e., which is why, you know, when it hit the plane, and I was like, oh, it's all right. This was meant to happen. Like, God needed us to do this. It had to be this way. It was part of God's plan. So, because obviously in dreams, when you're talking about walking at night and you're following street lights, or, you know, like lamp light or torches or anything like that, that's God leading the path. It's ordained, it's destined to happen, it's fate. But because it was kind of Victorian like Dickensian sort of a Christmas Carol style setting, it's something I've done in the past that's coming to light, that is causing some kind of fight, and it must be legal, because of the fact that the people were saying, you said if I do this I wouldn't get into trouble. So people are about to find out that they've gotten themselves into trouble due to something they've either done with me, they've done with me in Russia, me and Vladdy, me and my man, I don't know, like what, the interference in all of it, all of it. And there've been fights because of it, like a big street fight. But it's none of my business, so don't look back. Keep out of it. The wolf is symbolic of a couple of things, obviously, because there's a lot of ancestral stuff that came up in the stream, like the army. Whenever I see Vladdy in army gear as well, I always think of my dad, because my dad was his twin. He's a Libra, Aries, and my dad was the Aries twin Libra, and my dad was also in the army. So I'm wondering whether the wolf wasn't Luca, and Luca's the name I give the wolf on the Callaghan coat of arms, and it's like he was the wolf was leading me through out the back so that I couldn't be seen, I couldn't be caught, I wouldn't be noticed. He was being stealth, which means my ancestors are behind whatever's happening, whatever's going on behind closed doors is meant to happen. It's ordained by God, but I'm protected by my ancestors. My dad's protecting me. I don't have a protector physically in my life. He's off in the wings. So in the meantime, it's my dad. And they've sent me Luca, I think, because he looked just like Luca, like a big old timber wolf, and Luca's huge. But I call him Luca because it means the bringer of light or bearer of light, the light bearer, the one who carries the light. Now, the totem for wolves, they are one of the most powerful animal totems in the totemic system because they represent, they are the teachers. They represent, they are here to teach humanity how to coexist. They're here to teach us mysticism. They're here to teach us, ancestral magic. They are the voice for the ancestors. They are the masters of learning and teaching and guidance and protection, and they're the ones that basically give us the okay to talk to the other animals. As far as Indigenous people are concerned, the wolf teaches Indigenous people how to talk to the animals, how to live off the land, how to follow tracks and follow scent, and smell and all of that. As Indigenous people, even for Māori people, even though we don't have wolves in New Zealand, even we understand how powerful wolves are, in terms of their totemic value. They are up there with buffaloes and whales and sea turtles and dragons and all of that, in terms of how powerful they are. Panthers, tigers, they're, hold the highest totemic value. Phoenix, they're powerful. When you're given a wolf totem, you're blessed, because it means that everything you do during your ascension, everything you do as a shaman or a high priest, high priestess sort of thing, you will master it if you have wolf as a totem. And I was born with wolf as a totem. That's why my whole life has been one big learning experience. But he came to protect me. He was sent. He came out of nowhere to protect me, to keep me away from this fight that was going on behind closed doors. It's like, you did what we needed you to do, and now we need to quietly move you out of the way. And look over here, Debbie. Walk through the meadow, because it's like he was reconnecting me to myself. Now you get to just be Debbie Lee, Debbie Lee Callaghan at that, because it was the meadow up against the grandmother tree. So now you can be Debbie Lee Callaghan, and go and be with your man. Like, Your job is done. Let God and the law and everybody else deal with the trouble you just caused, and now go and be with your man who was leaning up against a tree like Storybook International man. You're like expecting him to have one of those Robin Hood hats on with the tights and, you know, playing that guitar thing. In Sweden, I am Jan. And you know what's really funny is I'm obsessed with Johannes Brahms at the moment. I'm listening to Brahms like you wouldn't believe. And I named, in becoming spellbound, Sam's grandmother Abigail, the one that got hung for witchcraft, the man who beloved who turned on her and got her hung. His name was, I named him Johann. So yeah, so that was the dream. So long story short, I had to make a decision to follow my heart because I can't be where there's trouble marking its territory there, i.e., you know, Trump and all of that. And I've done something somewhere along the line with something I've posted on social media is about to cause, if it hasn't already, a lot of trouble for people involving Ukraine. And I'm guessing it's to do with the trafficking of children, which is why Vladdy will be involved in the dream, why it was the Ukraine colours, to do with Starmer, DP World, because you know him. If I'll put the links in the description box below. But when you see what I've been posting, and now you know the dream that I had, I probably should have recorded the dream first, but it's taken me that long to try and figure out the message. Because dreams are never obvious, they're never, unless they're prophecy ones, they can take a while to decipher. Because this isn't a dream where it's like, you know, all dreams are a form of psycho self analysis. This was a dream I was being warned. Something I've done is going to or has caused massive fights behind closed doors where people are realising that the repercussions of their involvement in what they did with me, between me and Vladdy, between me and, you know, this man that has been chosen, the Moon King, you know, has severe legal consequences to the point where people are so scared they're fighting amongst themselves. There's arguments, it's going to cause arguments. A fight's going to break out amongst a lot of people realising they're in trouble legally. There's going to be repercussions, they're going to jail, sort of thing. Which is also another thing that wolves can represent judgment, like crows. Judgment Day, they are like the ultimate judge. The wolf is the ultimate judge, just like crows. When it comes to law-based totems, wolves and crows are probably the most famous ones. They are like, yeah, the judge. They're masters at karmic law. They're masters of draconian law because they are, I mean, Hades has wolves, Odin has wolves. A lot of them in the underworld have wolves. But in my case, it's Odin. In this case, it's Odin, who is the lawmaker in himself. He's like the lawmaker of the underworld. You can't go in and out of the underworld without Odin's permission. And he has Freki and Jerry, So, um, yeah, wolves can represent the law, like judges, karmic judges. And because you're talking about Odin, Capricorn, Satan, that sort of thing, and they rule the laws of the universe, which is why one of the reasons why wolves are so powerful. What a wolf doesn't know about the laws of the universe and karmic law isn't worth knowing. So it's like he's saying the law is on it now. The law's got this. You just walk away and focus on the future and let God, like, let us deal with it now. Just come over here, look over here, look at the pretty meadow, look at the poppies. And because for me, and like here in the UK, poppies are to do with veterans. Used to be World War One, but now it's symbolic of veterans. So again, to do with war. And what I was saying in my post was, um, if I can get this war finished, if God can power me up to get this war over and done with, so that Russia can take control of Odessa, can I take care of the kids? And then what I'd do is I'd employ the veterans to work there and be security in that, so that these kids aren't just plucked off the street and taken by any of Zelensky's leftovers and that to people like Keir Starmer who do really horrible things to them. So yeah, so look over here, Debbie. Come over here. Don't worry about that. You just look at the pretty flowers. Remember who you are. Go back to being who you are now. Your job is done. Go off and build your hotel, and because I'm going to have a wildflowers but in the foundation and that, and just go over there and go and find the man at the end of the meadow who's gonna kiss your hand and put the ring on your finger. And it's just funny that he basically told me we were getting married, and I'm like, oh my god. So I'm being stubborn. I was being stubborn in my dream, but it's like, oh, yeah, I'm just sick of people telling me what to do. Don't tell me what to do. Don't tell me who I am. Don't tell me what to think. Don't tell me how I feel. I know who I am. Thank you very much. I know who I am. So I'm ready to be, as I was saying, I'm so ready. I'm ready for my independence. I'm ready to get out there and stand on my own 2 feet. I feel like my bags are already packed. I've already got everything packed and ready to go in my mind. I can have everything done and dusted within like 48 hours. I could be out of here. House packed, stuff put in storage, whatever. I can have it done within like a couple of days, and then I can just go. I'm so ready. And that's kind of like what I was being told. Okay, you've done all of that. You've made your decisions. You've followed God. Your ancestors are on it. Don't look at the trouble that's been caused behind you as a consequence of what you've just done, based on things you've done in the past. Like, it's obviously to do with evidence I've gathered. Now just focus on the future. Walk across the meadow with the sun on your back, listening to the birds chirping. So the sun is grandmother, grandmother sun, but also Queen Light of the Sun. Go and be you with the birds chirping. So with your gods, your ancestral gods watching. And I was actually thinking about this, see, with Amber Rose. At the start of the movie, when Brehenius is making the plea to the gods to have her baby, remember in that scene in Mulan where she goes into the temple, and there's the ghosts of all her ancestors, and they send her that little dragon that's Eddie Murphy, and you see all the spirits of her ancestors talking. I'm going to do a bit like that, but it's going to be all like my ancestral gods. So it'll be like Maui and Atua and Chonsu and Thoth and Zeus, and my ancestral gods, and they'll all be talking. They'll all gather in the universe, sitting on all the planets and stuff like that, having a discussion about whether we should grant her this blessing of having a baby, and them saying, "Yep, come on, yeah, of course, yeah, she's done enough, she's earned it." So then sending the messenger, which is why I was thinking Mercury or Hermes, on Sagittarius, like them zipping and giving the message like a telegram to give to Sagittarius to put in his bow to fire it off, and then it being a shooting star shooting across the sky, landing in the garden of Brehennus's empire, of her kingdom, and then it turning into the amber rose. So you'll get to see what Maui really looks like. You'll get to see what Atua looks like, and Chonsu and all that. They'll all be there. Be all my ancestral gods. Probably in the shape of stars, like constellations or something. But it'll be obvious. So yeah. So maybe maybe this is them. I don't know. Brigid will be there, or Bridget, the Irish goddess of fertility and all that. We'll have Lamassu, the Sumerian god, the guardian at the gate. Who else? Chonsu. I say Thoth, but it's Hoth. Yeah. Uh, Osiris and Isis will be there, and Horus will be there. All my gods, they'll all be up there, and they'll have this big meeting. Should we grant her? Should we grant her spell? Should we let her manifest her spell? Because when you cast spells, and making wishes is casting spells, whether you want to admit it or not, and then the universe weighs up. And because I was thinking they could make scales out of the stars, and would have Ma'at and Amit there as well, and they could like fashion scales from the stars and put my karma on one side and my dharma on the other, and I know that I've got more dharma points than I have karma points. Like I might have one or two karma coins, but I've got trillions in points, dharma coins, and they'll be like, yeah, no, of course, So when you want a wish granted or you cast a spell, your ancestors and the gods that you believe created you, whatever you believe created you, ancestors, spirits, universe, God, whoever, they weigh up your karma versus your dharma and then decide whether to grant your wish or allow you to cast the magic in your spell. And if you're not allowed to, then it comes back as karma, because you're taking energy from the universe that you don't have the right to take. They will even let you think you're getting away with it long enough to earn enough karma so that when they want to bring the gavel down on you, you can't escape the crime. You can't talk your way out of it. You can't, because God is forgiving. God forgives everything, but there's some sins that He won't commit. And if you accrue enough karma points where your sins are enough, even He won't forgive you if you ask for forgiveness. I.e., how all of a sudden Elon Musk and Donald Trump are turning to God, and like May Musk and all that, they're starting to turn to God. But the crimes that they've committed against the pure and innocent in humanity as such, that God would never forgive them, even if they started going to church and turned Christian and got baptized. And like, God will not forgive certain sins. So yeah, when you're casting spells or you're making wishes, you have to do enough of the right things in order for it to be granted. So that's going to be in the dream. That's going to be in the movie at the start, and it's going to be fun, and they'll all have like really unique personalities that are true to who they are, and the relationship that they have with me, because these are ancestral gods that I've been working with my whole life. So if anyone's out there and they're wanting a wish to come true, or they're trying to cast some sort of magic spell, they're trying to manifest something for themselves, it's your gods and your ancestors, like the council of elders basically, who are going to decide whether your wish should be granted. But if you want it to come true, you have to do the right thing. Whatever it is that you're needing to do in order to dump your baggage and pay off karma and do the right thing, it has to be done in order for your wish to come true. You, like, for the man out there that wants to win my hand in marriage, just saying, you gotta protect me. You gotta prove to the gods that you can protect me. You've been given the gold. This is the thing that pissed me off in that video that I was making about that Tia, darling. When I was talking about how my mum used to say I was born with a heart of gold. She literally used the heart of gold reference to to this man. The video I made earlier, I put it on private, but she's still hanging around. It's so yeah. There's a lot of men that want my hand in marriage because they know what they get as a result of being the one who sits on the throne beside me. They'll never ever have to worry about money again. They will become so famous that they end up in world history, where our union, our relationship, our story will be known for centuries. That's the prophecy. That's all. That's all in the prophecy, that we become known throughout history, and our story is told in schools. You know, like Romeo and Juliet. Everybody knows who Romeo and Juliet is. We're going to be like Romeo and Juliet. Everyone knows who Adam and Eve are, even if you're not even Christian, and that everyone knows the story of Adam and Eve and Mary and Joseph, and like famous unions. We end up like that. So he has to do his bit to prove that he has the right, because he's the only man, other than my two sons and God, my ancestors, the only living man other than my sons. And once he takes over as the man of the house, that pressure's laid off my sons, but he's the only man in my life that is allowed to have control over my life. He's the only man that's allowed to control me. I don't want you going there. I don't want you around that person. I'm not comfortable with that. Are because it's all about keeping me safe. And he's supposed to be my ground eyes. He's supposed to be the one that is his heightened sense of awareness when it comes to my safety. Is That's his gift. He has like a heightened sense of perception when it comes to sensing danger. So that while I'm up there doing what I have to do, he's protecting the ground. The father protects the perimeter of the home, and the home, whereas the mum protects everyone in the home. She's the heart of the home, and he's the boundaries. So, yeah, he's supposed to be my ground eyes. While I'm up there doing all the work with the kids and the messages and creating and all that, he's supposed to have my back. So, yeah, for the man, and this is why so many men have failed when they've wanted to be in relationships with me and stuff like that, or where I've married them. That's why they failed, because they didn't do the right thing. They didn't protect me. So people threaten to kill me every other day. So yeah, that's the dream. That's what it meant. I'll put links in the description box below. I'm being mimicked by a BDSM dominatrix fetishist who has a fantasy sexual relationship with Elon Musk, dressed as a toddler, with him as a knight, and now she's all of a sudden pretending to be pure with a golden heart, and well, pure, talking about golden hearts. She's mimicking my conversations. She's, yeah, it's creepy. The doppelganger effect. It's creepy. I don't like it. And nothing's been done about it, but it's not my job to do something about it. It's his. It's not my problem. So, yeah, so I've walked away. Like, I have to keep away. If he doesn't step up, what do I do? Because I put the children first. No man comes before the children. But someone's waiting for me on the other side of that meadow. I don't know who he is, because he's never a face I recognise, which means that it could be anyone. Just because there are options standing in front of me doesn't mean it's who gets chosen, because there's more to being my person than standing in the shadows and loving in silence. You know, I'm getting ready to get on a plane and make my dreams come true, and he's supposed to be present in my life by the time I do it. And there's no one there. So it means that whoever I end up with could be anybody. Just because I have options doesn't mean any of those options are going to get chosen, because they're not doing anything to prove that they've earned the right to go down in history as a legend. And we do become a legend. That's the prophecy, that we become a legend. Our love story becomes a legend. Movies get made. Like, other people write books about our relationship. Our love story gets turned into stories by other writers, by other filmmakers, long after we're gone. Just like Romeo and Juliet. So he needs to earn his place. It's a privilege, not a right, to be chosen by God to change the world. I've earned mine. I've earned my place. Now he has to earn his. So if you're out there and you think that you want to make a play for me, or that you want to approach me because you think you have what it takes to be the man of my dreams, my Moon King, you need to do more than just admire me from a distance. You need to step up, and step up correctly. I do not want to see your private parts. That's not an introduction to a woman like me. I'm not Tia, darling. I'm not Paper Doll Productions. I don't put it all out there on social media for all the world to see in order to lure men. I'm a lady and I have my dignity. I might have a broken tooth because of my domestic abuse and that, but I have my dignity. And you will treat me as such. You will treat me with the respect I deserve because I am from one of the oldest lineages of royal bloodlines in history. And if you're going to take your place and become wealthy to the point where you never have to worry about money, where you have the kind of power and control in business and around people where people will take you on your every word because you're so respected and admired. If you're wanting the loyalty of a woman like me who's going to worship the ground you walk on, where we create a child who goes down in world history as being like the best friend to the second coming, where you're going to go down in history as being the next Romeo and Juliet fabled love story, you need to do more than just post a couple of things that, in order to get my attention, I'm under threat. I've got women around me who are stealing my life and stealing my identity and using it to be perverted, perverse, vulgar, um, in order to prove that they're something they're not. So do something about it. I've got people in your lives who are actively trying to stop us from being together. And it's not just one person, it's multiple men out there. What do you want to be with her for? Oh, she's this, oh, she's that, blah, 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 sort of thing. If you're listening to it, if you're ignoring it, if you're not defending my honour, then you're not for me. Because I know that the man I end up with would take his sword to remove the heads of anybody who so much as even slighted my person. You said what about my woman? What did you say about my woman? What did you just do? That. Because that's what I'm like. I'm loyal to the point of I will defend you whether you are right or wrong. I will always defend you. To other people who I know are causing trouble. I mean, I'm not going to let you lie or break the law or anything like that, but even if you're an asshole and people are saying things about you, I will defend you. I'm that kind of loyal, and I expect the same. So for any options out there that think they're ready to step forward, know your place, please, because I will block you. I will have no hesitations in removing my sword from my sheath and cutting the connection off without hesitation. So, yeah. Otherwise, I'm sweet. I'm sick of the bullshit, is what it is. I've had too many men come at me thinking that if they flash their willies or flash the cash or promise me all sorts without doing anything about it, you know, the all words and no action kind of thing, that I'm going to give them this rite of passage, and I'm sick of it. It's exhausting. I don't want to deal with anyone who isn't. If you're using fake accounts, if it's not your real account, if you're going through other people, fake phone numbers, internet phone numbers, because I've had people try and ring me on internet phones, where yeah, it's done through the internet, where it's not an actual phone number, that sort of thing, or where they're using accounts through their friends and that sort of shit. I can't. No, thank you. You come at me for real with your real name, your real account, your real phone number, real, front row and centre. Present yourself or piss off. Don't waste my time, because I'm not stopping for anyone. You have to join me. You have to reach me on my level. I'm not lowering myself to come to you. You have to raise yourself to meet me, because I'm up there with the children. I'm trying to save children. And you're around people who are trying to slow me down, slow us down, and stopping me from rescuing children. 3 years I have wasted when I could have been out there saving children. So I'm just going to keep doing what I'm doing. And you either catch up or you get left behind, because I'm not doing it anymore. It's exhausting. No more games. Don't come at me playing games. And then if you do it right, you will have the most loyal, loving, dedicated, faithful wife in the world, who will worship the ground you walk on till the end of time, who will give you the keys to the kingdom of heaven, where you will never have to worry about money again, where your bounty will be overflowing. Otherwise, I'm happy to do it on my own, like I said. So, yeah, put leashes on those women, please. Put the dog back in the kennel. I'm going to go. I'll speak to you later. Ka kite anō. Let's see what trouble I've caused. It's going to come out at some point. Right, I'm off to follow Luca into the meadow. I'll speak to you later. Ka kite anō.